Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with Startuptrading.com. It is 9 o'clock in the morning, New York time, Friday, August 7th here. This morning we had the unemployment change for the Canadian markets as well as the US markets. We were beat in both of them, so better than expected employment rates for the US and Canadian markets. We'll take a quick look at next week's news events since it's Friday, so the main ones at least. GDP out of the Great Britain pound on Tuesday evening, CPI 8:30 on Wednesday for the US markets. The Australian dollar will have its unemployment numbers on Wednesday evening, and then on Friday, core retail sales for the US market. So pretty light news events, no central bank intervention or announcements outside of the New Zealand dollar on Tuesday, which we don't really watch. So let's take a look here. I'm going to start off with the indexes, just kind of where we are and where we've come from the overnight session. So this wicked candle here at 8:30 is a 14-point range, which is pretty big for what we've seen so far in the markets. Now, what we held in the overnight session is a 50% retracement from Thursday's low to high. And Thursday, you could argue that we held Tuesday's low to high. So we came off that halfway back, and we are bullish above right now, this 33.18. There is support levels below, but the sequence of this week has been, there's been some traditionals here. It was Tuesday's low to Thursday's high, pulled halfway back, Thursday's low to the overnight high, pulled halfway back. So we just continue to grind up. We have completed some higher time frame targets here. Yesterday they were a 33.26, which gives us the possibility of an extension from July 23rd that we're going to want to pay attention to. And then also on the higher time frame, there is this daily target. Actually, let me switch up my drawing set. There is this daily profit target all the way up at 33.72, which goes back to the pullback of June 15th. So we're going to be approaching that possibly next week, maybe even today if things take off to the upside. Anything can happen on a Friday, but right now we would really need to get back above the 33 to get anything going to the upside. Let me just readjust these draws. Now, if we check lower here in the S&P, that level that is really just important, like I said, is that extension from 32.84 to high. And then as a reminder, there is an anchor that goes back to the previous Friday, but that would be a significant move lower. We'd really need to break through a couple of support levels off the open if that's going to be the case. For the Dow has a same anchor new high extension that actually hasn't traded here, but it traded on Thursday, and that was from the overnight high going into the Tuesday open. It was a 3 a.m. high. It was 26,678 to high. The high right now is that profit target. That's the high. So we have a same anchor new high, and that's where I'm drawing that green box there. We have that same anchor new high, and that would, the 38% retracement, be at 27,074, which is below our current low. What is holding, and we can watch it, this is the Thursday low to high, which is the same setup that the S&P traded. Moving on to the NASDAQ. The NASDAQ has a traditional target from the pullback of July 24th that is up at 11,372. And starting the week, or I should say last week on Friday, we had this traditional measured move. And we've gone straight through that. That was from Thursday's low to Friday's high. That was on the earnings beat. We've gone through those negative 61. So the biggest level, the biggest sequence I have here in the NASDAQ is actually that 10,939 to high. And the 50% retracement lines up with this leg start. It's an 11, talk about a lucky number. If we come back into that, that would be the most significant support level I would see the NASDAQ trade here today. There is a more aggressive sequence that's holding. I'm not going to draw it up right now just because we are really consolidating below this 50% retracement short in the NASDAQ. But we do, it's not something I would sell into at this point. The first test has a reaction, but if it completes targets, we can can watch, because that would be completing targets down into the 38% retracement of the extension, and that would also be a potential valid support level. That level is going to be an 11,152 area. 11,152 for the NASDAQ would be that first support level that I'm looking for below. Moving on to CL, which yesterday came out of a 50% retracement short. Now, we completed this higher time frame target at 43.35 on Wednesday, and those are our high of the week in oil. We rotated lower, we had a pretty aggressive reversal, and we have held a 50% retracement short. We made a new low, and we have held our next halfway back short here. So oil has a down sequence with two targets, 41.14 and 41.04, which line up with the full 50% retracement that goes back to last week on Thursday and the previous high we had broken out of right in that zone. So that is a very important zone I'm watching here for CL. Moving on to the USDJPY. USDJPY has run into its halfway back short from the high of last week on the 3rd of August. That was a 105.89. It was front run by about 4 pips and have rotated back to the bottom. We're just stuck in this range between a 105.32 and a 105.89 here for the USDJPY. The Aussie dollar has come out of its highs and held a 50% retracement short. That would target back to the bottom of the range. The lows of the prior day is a 71.77, and that's about the only thing I'm going to pay attention to right now in the Aussie dollars, if we can rotate down to and through that short target. The euro has come off a halfway back long, but once again, the dollar is actually seeing some strength here this morning, and with that strength, we're seeing weakness in the corresponding opposing currencies. This 1805 is support level unless it breaks, and if it does break, I would expect to move back to the bottom of the range here. But at this point in time, I don't really have a setup for the euro because we've already traded the long and the shorts. I'm not drawing. I'm just aware that they're there. The pound, also weak. We had GBP news. There was their central bank talk yesterday. There were interest rates, etc. And we consolidated at highs, failed to break out. We've been rotating lower ever since. I have the bottom of the range really only as support. And at this point in time, the full 50% retracement short at 31.25 is a valid resistance level. 31.25 is a valid resistance level here for the GBPUSD. The USDCAD is inside of a traditional that's stuck at 61 at the 133.72, but we also completed a long in the overnight session. So it is a battle of the trends between a 50% retracement long and this 50% retracement short. But the last move to complete is the long. So if we stay above 133.11, we're going to continue to rotate higher into the profit target at 133.95. If we hold below these lows, we're going to continue moving down in this trend that we have here in the USDCAD. And then gold traded this extension that we've really been inside of all week. It's from last Wednesday's high to high. This is the higher time frame extension. Now it first traded Wednesday of this week in the overnight session, and then the same anchor new high had a 38% retracement, traded 2 profit targets. Same anchor new high, traded its 38 here again. The 50 is below, it's untested. We're still bullish above a 2033, and if we can break out of the 50% retracement short at 2077, we once again would just validate the next upside target here in gold. And then silver has traded its next daily extension. Okay, this is a extension to extension. We completed some pretty serious profit targets that pulled back on the 28th of July. Now they completed on the 6th of August, and then we had a brand new extension series trade. We also have an extension series that's valid from the high of Sunday night, the high of the week, the high that you could argue had some orders in a front run. But at this point in time, we are bullish above a 27.04 in different variations of sequences in silver with upside targets of 30 30.80, upside targets of 30.80 in silver. But that is really all I got here for the trade plan. It's going to be interesting. The indexes, the open, I think it's going to be pretty wild. Obviously, it's European traders, and just early morning. It's going to be important to watch the digestion of the price action in the first 30 minutes as the non-farm payroll has come out, which is the biggest news event for the week for the U.S. markets specifically, and really all of the markets in general. So be careful in those first 30 minutes. Pay attention to the support levels I'm going to share with you guys in the room. Everybody trade safe and have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys in the trade room. Take care. Trade safe and have a wonderful weekend. I'll see you guys in the trade room. Take care.